What is going down, YouTube Niner Empire? Welcome to another edition of Danny Golding TV. Yes, I know what you're all saying. Danny, why the fuck are you making your videos so late? Hey, better late than never. Yes, it's technically game day right now, but hey, I don't care. It's Niners, it's Cowboys. Man, I am pumped up for this one. Always, I love this rivalry so much, and I hate the fucking Dallas Cowboys so much that I could not resist coming on here. Now, it's a little late to do my traditional trash talking circle TTC style hate week, I guess, but fuck the Dallas Cowboys. I will say that. Cowboys face and everyone on there making videos, your team's gonna lose. And I do want to give a quick shout out to Dukebothers, and stay tuned to the end of this video because I will give you a big shout out at the end. But let's just get down to business. The Niners are 3-4. Every team in the NFC West is 3-4 except the Seahawks being 4-3 and top the NFC West. The Seahawks are also the only NFC team the Niners have beat so far this year. But with the Rams getting the upset win against the Minnesota Vikings on Thursday Night Football, the Niners now find themselves in last place with the Rams having the tiebreaker over the Niners. And with the Niners losing to the Chiefs last week, despite the fact that the Chiefs are the two-time defending Super Bowl champions, with losing that game, it took away the whole momentum the Niners had after beating the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football the week prior to that. And this game is an absolute must-win. I don't care how early it is in the season. Yes, mathematically is it a must-win? No, it isn't. The Niners can lose this game and win out the rest of the year, and no one's going to even really be talking about this game anymore. That could happen. But if the Niners want the momentum to be on their side, they absolutely have to get this win against the Dallas Cowboys. We're 3-4 right now. Now, out of the 4 losses, the only ones that were acceptable were the Vikings loss week 2. The Vikings started off 5-0, and they got a hell of a team. That Vikings loss maybe doesn't look as bad as it did when it happened. And then, of course, the loss last week against the Chiefs. Those are the only 2 acceptable losses so far this year. The loss against the Cardinals was absolutely unacceptable. I don't give a fuck how hot it was at Levi's on that day. Losing to the Cardinals and Kyler Murray looking absolutely unstoppable running in that game, that was just unacceptable. Completely. Losing to the Rams was also unacceptable. Especially the way they did. It would be more unacceptable if they somehow lost to this Dallas Cowboys team. Okay? Just without a doubt. The Cowboys are an absolute joke. A pathetic fucking joke. And they have been pretty much since they won their last Super Bowl. I mean, they've had a lot of success since then. I mean, not a whole lot of playoff success, but some success nonetheless. Tony Romo and T.O. and his little stunt there. And they've had some success with Dak as well. But and it's funny, when I bring up Tony Romo, then with Dak at QB for the Cowboys now, and with Brock at QB for the Niners now, there's something that I thought of. And actually, Abam, when you pointed out the stat about how Brock Purdy already has 4 playoff wins in his short career, and Dak only has 1 playoff win, it's very similar how at one point Tony Romo was in the league for 9 years, and Colin Kaepernick already had more playoff wins than him. very similar situation. Now, another difference is Brock Purdy was the absolute last overall pick in the draft, and he won his first playoff game, his first two playoff games in his rookie year. And Kaepernick, I mean, he basically was a rookie. He was his second year. It was his first year being the starting quarterback midway through the season with Alex Smith being injured. So yeah, I find that hilariously funny as well. Two two very young quarterbacks early in their career having more playoff success. Well, as far as Brock and Dak go, I would say more success in general for the most part. But already two quarterbacks very early in their career having more success than Cowboy quarterbacks that have been the starter for almost a decade in both cases. That's just hilarious. But the Cowboys are an absolute fucking joke, and part of the reason why is because they are owned by this guy, Jerry Jones. I mean, hey, not even the fact that they're owned by him. The fact that they're not only owned by him, but they're also generally managed by him. Because he's a power-hungry old man that is just an absolute complete dick. And if you don't believe me, listen to what he said to RJ and Sean on 105.3 The Fan after losing to the Lions 47-9.
Now, if you think I'm interested on a damn phone call with you over a radio and sitting here and throwing all the good out with the dishwater, you have got to be smoking something over there this morning. This is not your job. Your job isn't to let me go over all the reasons that I did something and I'm sorry that I did it. That's not your job.
Well, my job is to ask
why.
Y'all
get a job, or I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, man.
Jerry, we're trying to figure out why the team is.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. You're not going to figure out what the team is doing right or wrong.
Yes, that is Jerry Jones on a local Dallas radio station doing his weekly interview, and the guys that interviewed him, I've heard before on the Morning Roast on in the Bay Area, owned by the same radio company, Odyssey. So those guys interview him. They're good guys just doing their job. And Jerry Jones, being the little bitch that he is, threatened their jobs because he couldn't take constructive criticism. Somehow it's their fault that the Cowboys have been a joke for 28 years. I mean, that's just so pathetic in so many ways. I mean, it's not quite as immature and childish as someone that's running for president that's close to that age. He didn't quite act that immature and childish, but he was pretty damn close. And a lot like the guy I'm talking about, he just can't take constructive criticism, and that's just ridiculous. I mean, now, Jerry Jones might even be an okay owner, but him being both the owner and the general manager, the Cowboys are never going to have a Super Bowl ring as long as that happens. Like, there's just absolutely no way. So, that's just pathetic in so many ways, man. The Niners cannot blow this game to the Cowboys. They just cannot. They're 3-4 right now. If they somehow drop this game going into the bye week, they would be far from mathematically eliminated, but still, they just could not blow this game. And the Niners will not blow this game. There is no way they will. As long as we can contain CeeDee Lamb, the Niners are going to win this game. I mean, Brandon Ayuk is out for the year. Jawan Jennings is out for this game. Deebo Samuel is going to play, but he got out of the hospital this past week for pneumonia. So, I mean, God bless his soul, and I'm like glad he's okay. I mean, that's not something that you're likely to die from at that age or anything, but that's being in the hospital for that. That's just not a good thing. You have trouble breathing So that almost makes me question if Debo even should be playing in this game, as much as the Niners need him. But yeah, it might not be 100%. And you have Ricky Pearsall, who made his debut last week, a few months after being shot, which is crazy in itself as well. And you're going to have Jacob Cowling probably playing a big factor in this game as well. Hey, if the Niners just run the ball down the Cowboys' throat with Jordan Mason, Isaac Guerrero, and the Niners defensively can just contain CeeDee Lamb, then they should get this game. This should be an easy win. The Niners absolutely kicked the Cowboys' ass on Sunday Night Football last year. I don't expect it to be that case. And man, George Kittle had a hell of a game. And that's another thing. George Kittle, I do expect him to score to have a touchdown reception in this game. But yeah, since the fact that the Cowboys are coming off a bye week, I don't expect the Niners to absolutely roll them the way they did on Sunday Night Football last year, but I think they should get this win pretty easily. Now, I want to get into the all-time rivalry between the 49ers and the Cowboys because there's a lot of interesting components to it. The 49ers lead the Cowboys in all-time victories 20-19-1. But the Cowboys lead the 49ers in playoff victories 5-4. Now, the first time these two teams met in the postseason was the 1970-1971 season. The Cowboys got the win. 1971-1972, the Cowboys got the win. 1972-1973, the Cowboys got the win. But then we go from the 70s to the 80s. 1981-1982 season. On January 10th, 1982, this happened.
They're 6 yards away from Pontiac. 3rd and 3.
We'll see a pickup sometime on the right side, possibly.
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. Clark caught it! Dwight Clark! It's a madhouse at Candlestick.
Both fans should agree that that's the best moment in the rivalry between these two teams. So the Niners get the win in the 81-82 season en route to their first Super Bowl. We fast forward to the 90s. 1992-1993. The Cowboys get the win in the postseason. 1993-1994, the Cowboys get the win. But then, 1994-1995, the Niners get the win over the Cowboys en route to their 5th Super Bowl. Then we fast forward to the 2020s. 2021-2022. The Niners get the win in the postseason. 2022-2023. The Niners get the win in the postseason. But the Cowboys still have one more win in the postseason, and the Niners have one more win all time against the Cowboys in all-time matchups. And both teams tied it once as well. So a lot of interesting stats with this rivalry, but I want to get into someone that's been making videos on here for 18 years for the Dallas Cowboys. His name is the Great Dukebothers. I've been making videos on here since I was a little kid, 15 years ago, and Duke has basically been on here. If you take away just 9 years of my life, he's been on here my whole life, basically. And he's been a big part of starting the group, the NFL Trash Talking Circle, known the TTC for short, for those of you that do not know what I'm referring to. And there's been a lot of legendary video makers that unfortunately have made videos for the Dallas fucking Cowboys. J. Wad, Halen88, who literally started this whole thing with an Eagles fan named John Ammo. There's been a lot of legendary video makers for the damn Dallas Cowboys that I hate. The team that I hate so much. But there's been so many legendary video makers on here, and that includes, of course, the great Dukebothers, who announced this week that it was going to be his last video. He's going to focus more on spending time with his family and focus more on God and all that. So nothing but respect for Dukebothers. You've been nothing but good for me for years on here. I'm going to miss you, man. We'll definitely still be in touch on Messenger. But anyway, that's all I got. Danny G is out. Let's go Niners. Peace!